Hey guys, welcome to the 1400 match. So once again, we have Everdan as our sort of 1400 star of the show versus E13691246, who I'll just refer to as E1. So this is like a really classic map. There's a grand finals between Voice of Akasha and Jack Cool on this map. That's like really entertaining. Um, two of the titans of this game, and I'd say a lot of the old tournament championships really hold up in terms of uh, intensity and smart plays and all that to today's standards. So yeah, I might do like a analysis of that sometime. It's just a little bit of a bummer because you don't get the click by click, turn by turn thing. So, anyways, all right. So we have Everdan here. Everdan is one of the top players, without question. He's rocking a 1472 rating right now, which is ridiculous. 140 games played, sorry, 120 games played. And he's been around. I mean, Everdan was his original account, and then he rebranded to X. And then he also has another account, Battlecopter. I think that all three of those accounts are in the top 10. So, like, my man plays the game, and he plays it well. So, E1, on the other hand, I'm not as familiar with. So they're at 1155 with a pretty impressive record. Looks like they do a lot of free-for-alls, from what I can tell. But once again, like, it's hard to find evenly matched ultra high-level games just because there just are very few of them. They're not when we do get an evenly matched one, Voice of Akasha usually covers it first, so I let him do that, and then I do the other ones. Okay, so sounds good. Yeah, let's get into the match then. So it's going to be Adder versus Jess. Both choices make good sense to me. So in the Voice of Akasha versus Jack Cool game on this map, they both went Adder. Adder seems like a good choice here. Lots of open areas for your airport builds to go, so bombers can go to the center and threaten everything. There's a lot of open space for fighters to roam around. As far as land masses go, there's this river running through the middle of the map, well, top and bottom, and with the river, there's room for artillery builds. So there's a lot of shielding right along this area. Another interesting part about this map is the 4 ports in the center here. You can see battleships, carriers, submarines to take those 2 things down. There's like a bit of diversity on this map, and this map is often cited as being like a pretty interesting blend of air, land, and sea, with this sea area in the middle that can have some influence on the rest of the fight. So the 2 HQs are moderately exposed here and here. It's kind of a 2 base versus 1 base push, and then the 1 base is actually pretty well cut off from the HQ. The opposing 2 base can actually defend the HQ pretty decently, but there's so many properties down here in the south for the 2 base to go for that if you play too conservatively towards your HQ, you're going to lose a bit of ground here, which can cost you some money. So yeah, let's get into the match then. Oh yeah, and then so Jess. Okay, so Jess, right? So she has firepower debuffs on her air and sea, which is a little bit lackluster on this map, but otherwise, I'd say it makes sense just because You do see like a fair number of vehicle fights on this map, um, which favor Jess. Like the bases are relatively far away from the contestable cities, so that means that tanks and neo-tanks oftentimes win the fight down there. And if things stall up in a land battle, she can she can really punch through with her strong powers. The other thing too, these airports are somewhat contestable. If you're really ambitious and send a recon out there, you could delay it for a while. Although I haven't seen enough games on here to see if the airports are like truly long-term contestable or not without one player totally goofing up. So get into the match then. Normal moves as we would expect. Both these players are pretty good. One of them I would say is incredible. And then let's see. Solid moves. I see. So looks like E1 is mirroring Everdan here. Just kidding. So E1 has the initiative on the bottom right. There are some nice capture lines here that we're going to see. So here's the first asymmetry. It looks like Everdan goes back here to take these backward spaces. And we'll see why in a sec here. Everdan has a pretty cool idea going. All right, so Everdan's capture chains in the upper left are different than E1's in the lower right. So E1 went first infantry here, second infantry here, and then second infantry here, here, and it looks like it's probably going to capture across the river. And then the third infantry also goes forward. So Everdan has a different idea. So his first infantry captures this way, then across the river. Looks like. Second infantry is going to capture back, and then third infantry goes forward. So it's hard to evaluate what's the right idea until you kind of see how it plays out. As for the rest of the moves, Everdan goes deep here, going for this capture into this city, probably not back. And then his second capture towards the port, and then looking to probably go for this city and then potentially for this deep port, although that's probably not going to happen. All right, so here we see the versed vehicle for E1 in the lower right here. Makes a lot of sense. Tank is a great interrupting unit that can also stand alone on its own, whereas a recon kind of needs support once the big boy tanks show up. Okay, so here's kind of the first cool idea from Everdan. So he goes for an APC. So Everdan is known for APC ideas, and I'd say like maybe even as high as 50% of his game builds APCs in the capture phase. So the idea here is I think he captures here, moves the APC down, and then boosts towards this city, which is pretty nice. See what actually happened. I looked through this game a little bit to make sure it wasn't a blowout. It was entertaining. So, all right. So interestingly, E1 floats 15k here, building a tank in the upper, the sort of center right base. And then the infantry down here, I don't really understand. It could have been a medium tank, which is pretty nice as Jess. Although, no, I think medium tank into Adder medium tank is fine. I mean, Adder has the movement boost for one fewer stars, but Jess, like, yeah, I mean, one more star for the movement boost on medium tank, and it does quite a bit more damage. I think it's not such a big deal. Also, yeah, Jeff's medium tanks can sit on cities pretty comfortably. So I kind of wonder if the medium tank from this base would have been a more like a move that with more initiative. Oh, I see. I was a turn behind with that guy. So, all right. So the infantry goes back to get the boost. But then the nice thing about this move is now this infantry can boost into the APC. So, it can go for this city right here, I suppose. Or the other thing it can do, well, no, that's. I get kind of confused with. Okay, actually, sorry, I was gonna say I get confused with like sometimes you can like move and boost, but sometimes it looks cool, but it doesn't actually net you anything. So I had one of those moments. So actually, maybe holding off on the medium tank wasn't such a bad idea because now so Everdan goes with Neo tank in the center left. So a medium tank build, well, followed up by Neo tank is still good. So actually not that big a deal. So anyways, oh, I see. It would have been, hold on, 7. It was 15, so it's 15 less. So, okay, actually, Jess would not have had the money for it. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, all right. Holding off on the medium tank to go for Neo is a reasonable thing to do, I suppose. Okay, the interrupt on this infantry is pretty much to be expected. And interestingly, so this was actually the first capture chain that Everdan went for. So it's not like he could have sped this up anymore. It was possible for him to support it earlier with the tank. Um, but like an earlier tank would mean a later infantry build. And there's lots and lots of different infantry required to capture these properties quickly. So basically, building a tank earlier would have meant delaying a capture later on. So uh, not the best. All right, so interesting. Okay, so another APC from Everyone. I don't remember this part. Um, but I think that the main thing that kind of made me so interestingly, the infantry decides to hit back. So now it's 4-4, and without any capture on this city. I guess the idea is like maybe this infantry could sack into this infantry and then delay this capture by a turn, and this capture by a turn. So yeah, I wonder if this infantry sack is on the table. I'm just confused because, well, I suppose Everdan had nowhere else to move that has both captures available. That doesn't get sacked into. All right, so tank does not sack into the airport. with the Neo-Tank around. So now the Neo-Tank is free to clear this infantry. This infantry can cap freely. And then this APC is about to accelerate a lot more infantry. So up top in the meantime, looks like there's a lot of unsupported infantry at the moment, but this Neo-Tank is going to come in and cover a lot of infantry. Although this just Neo-Tank is pretty threatening. So Everdan needs a way to, well, if he's going to push on this side, he needs another Neo-Tank on top. So yeah, I guess on Neo-Tanks they're evenly matched. So we'll see where Everdan decides to build his next Neo-Tank. Okay, infantry interrupt there. Makes sense value-wise, and then as far as unit count goes, it's not a big deal. Okay, so then, oh, I see. Okay, so the 2 HP infantry does a good job blocking here, while this other infantry captures mostly safely. This infantry can come off, kill the 2 HP, and then the tank sacks into the capture. But that's kind of desperate. Ah, so a Neo tank from the back base instead of the front base. So yeah, that's kind of like a loss of tempo move a little bit. But this artillery here is nice. Getting an artillery 2 into your high funds composition is really nice for dealing with enemies. Yeah, so far I'd say decently even, although E1 is starting to fall behind in the capture game. This property will go to E1, this property goes to E1, this one probably not, and then it's going to take some work in order to capture this port because the Neo tank needs to come south. But that's a little bit weird because E1 hasn't captured their airport. Okay, there's the tower. So Jess has the tower. Jess has -10 attack. Yeah, just fighters with a tower still one-shot bombers, so that's a good thing to keep in mind. All right, so E1 here goes for a bit of a weird capture on the port here. Like this Neo tank can, I don't know if it's a one-shot, but it can hit it for free. I don't think it's a one-shot unless it's a 2-tower. Yeah, oh, I see. Okay, yeah, so it's a roll for a one-shot. Yeah, I think there's no reason Everdan doesn't go for the port interrupt. It's going to delay the capture by a bit. Oh, and then the get off me bomber. The classic. Yeah, the get off me bomber says, you got too close and you got to get off me. So, yeah, the issue with the get off me bomber, even though Jess has a preemptive anti-air, now this Neo tank really doesn't have anywhere to go until the anti-air gets in position. And even still, like the bomber suiciding into the Neo tank, if it gets the one shot, it's still very cost effective if the anti-air doesn't one shot it in return. Okay, so Everdan does not get the lucky high roll on the port infantry, but that's not a big deal. So now I would say that Everdan kind of has a lot of tempo with medium tanks and now with this bomber. And now, killing this port infantry pretty much. means Everdan secures this capture, has a strong shot at the HQ, and this capture here looks pretty enticing as well. Although this artillery looks like it's probably going to be on HQ. Yeah, the way that it's moved says that this artillery is going to be on HQ defending duty. But yeah, not being able to capture this port right away is kind of awkward. And also this medium tank, I suppose it's fine as Jess because you do all that extra damage on CO power. So you can reverse the Neo tank, medium tank hierarchy on power or super CO power. But it does mean that day to day you have a little bit less punch. So the medium tank actually goes up, supporting the top. And it looks like Jess is finally going to get this airport capture. Okay, so now Jess is kind of in a fairly far forward position. And it looks like there could be some tactics here. With the bomber hitting the tank, blocking off from the anti-air. So the backwards Neo here protects these two infantry. And then also, I wonder if there might be... I don't see a blocking tactic. Yeah, okay, it does look pretty sharp, but I think that Jess is safe. Yeah, okay, so Xeronix found a blocking idea. Oh, I see what's going on. Oh, okay. Okay, so Xeronix found a way to attack both areas. Everdan, yeah, same person. Oh yeah, he found a way to attack both areas actually. Okay, no preemptive anti-air, but instead going for the B-copter down here, just to put a little extra pressure on that anti-air, I suppose. Oh, and a battleship. All right, a lot to unpack here. Oh, I see. So the battleship covers the Neo tank. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All this outside the box thinking. This is great. Okay, so this Neo tank killed a infant tank. So okay, that's one tank down, and then the battleship covers the Neo tank. So now this Neo tank doesn't really want to smack this Neo tank. Not only is it on 3-star terrain, but it's also backed up by a battleship. Down in the south here, the bomber picked up a kill on a tank and then blocked the free hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's actually not a free hit. Oh, I see. So yeah, the anti-air was 1 out of range from the tank. So yeah, actually that was kind of a free shot. I suppose that the APC is there so that if Jess like sacks for turbocharge, the anti-air can't hit the B-copter. So yeah, so Jess could do Neo hit on Neo, turbocharge, clear the APC with the Neo, kill the bomber. The danger with that though is that you have a Neo and an artillery ready to counter hit Jess's Neo. And she's in charge cooldown, so she doesn't get any charge off of that either. So yeah, really nice finds by Everdan. Like, I mean, there's a reason that he's so good. He finds pretty creative ideas sometimes. This is definitely one of them. So yeah, I mean, he basically just won 2 tanks for free. And if E1 decides to press his luck trying to get any of that value back, he's going to lose any more. He's going to lose even more value, it looks like to me. Yeah, let's see what E1 does. Okay, so E1 doesn't really take the bait, but I mean, it's not meant to be bait because he already took 2 tanks. All right, so now there's like a battleship war going on here. Um, kind of splitting his Neo's attention so that he can go back and take this port. Looks pretty nice right now. It'd be good to get a submarine that is. A submarine would be all right. So another nice thing about the APCs and high funds that Everdan takes advantage of a lot is transporting mechs, newly built mechs that he can shuttle to the front lines pretty quickly to deal with tanks. And Adder is a nice CO to go with mechs because his power boost, of course, means mechs go quite a lot faster. Okay, so it looks like no big mistakes this time from E1. Gonna interrupt a few more captures. But diving with this tank into this infantry looks like about to lose another tank for free. So yeah, looks like 2 infantry are gonna die in the south here. Gonna put him behind in unit count, which he's already not doing the best in. And he loses those 2 infantry. Bomber takes out an infantry, starts capturing. And then the anti-air is nowhere near being able to take out the bomber. So yeah, Everdan leading in the city. So taking a stock of things, so E1 is behind in unit count by a noticeable margin. Down a fair amount in army value, and then income-wise has a slight disadvantage. So E1 goes for the fighter here. Seems very smart, although it does seem a tad late because this battleship is not in a great place. What it can do is it can fire on Everdan's battleship, and then get KO'd by battleship bomber. Could bring his R2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so the anti-air won't be able to reach the battleship. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so the battle. So if Jess gets super CO power, the anti-air will be able to wrap around to hit the left-hand side of the battleship area where the bomber's going to be. So that's a nice little pickup. I mean, it's not a pickup. It's just like a lucky defense. Okay, it goes down, which is not gonna. So now Jess is gonna lose the battleship. So and at least it did have a battleship's worth of damage as it went down, but like, just and there's yeah, the anti-air can't reach around the corner. If it had gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here, then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the bomber. Although, yeah, I mean there are still options that Everdan had to like stop that. I'm a little surprised that E1 didn't see that. Okay, so after all this maneuvering, so the Blackwood also I want to compliment Xeronix for that one. That's pretty cool. realizing that he has value in the center, might as well like increase the battleship value, like the battleship HP. Um, it doesn't cost all that much when you have 50K income. So being able to repair that and get more and more value out of the center is really nice. So now we have Super CO power turn for Jess. Although she's really suffering from the fact that you can't really get over this river. Um, so the best that Jess can do right now is like clear infantry, helicopter, artillery. But that is like super not enough because it's going to lose an anti-air and two neo tanks. So Jess is like really struggling to be able to use her Super CO power effectively. And smartly, Everdan is retreated in the top here so that he's lessened the ability for Jess to first strike engage on all of his units in the top. I think Jess is going to hold on to Super CO power. But when you're up against Adder's Super CO power, it's really dangerous to like slowly position against that. So Adder actually finds a side slip instead of a Super CO power, so that's a nice find. Whenever you're looking at full charge for Adder, you can find a side slip over a snake bite or whatever the hell it's called. It adds a lot of it adds a lot of options later on down the line because you can CO power into CO power and kind of spread your damage out over multiple turns. Also, I think kind of the I know I've lost moment here is building a battleship. Like this is really, really, really passive. It's almost necessary too because there's so much stuff going on right around the HQ that not being kind of it would have been much better to have had this port so that the battleship could have been built here, but unfortunately that's just not possible. So yeah, this is a very sad battleship. Although, again, like I do think it might be necessary, all things considered. It kind of, and the reason that it's there, I think, is because it stops bomber from killing artillery, and then capturing the HQ. Okay, so here comes the side slip. Oh man, it's so bad. Oh, that hurts so much. Like losing most of a neo tank up top and then having like a pretty well defended position there. So now the fighter is like split between this bomber and this bomber, which you never really want to see. Some infantry die for free. And then the carrier here, that's pretty interesting. Oh, and the fighter, okay. Yeah, so basically what we see here is Everdan has 3 bombers, is that right? 1, 2, 3 bombers. And there's only 1 fighter for Jess. So I think Jess kind of has to go after this bomber, blow up this neo tank. In a perfect world, blow up the artillery, although I think that Xeronex is probably shielded for that. Oh, there's 2 artillery. Okay, no Super CO power. Oh, it doesn't kill. Huh? Wait, I thought that was supposed to one-shot. What? Huh? Oh, it's the power. It's the power. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say just should. There we go. I see. Okay, so it was. Okay, so that even hurts more. So like, yeah, because Adder had his CO power up, the couldn't one shot the bomber. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing holding on to turbocharge after the yeah. That just looks to me like he was just really not very confident in what he was going to do. Okay, so the game is like pretty well over right now. Um, yeah, that was like three of Justice's most important units dying back to back to back. Yep. Okay. So the game's over. And then if I recall correctly, E1 actually plays it out a little bit. Oh no, never mind. They resign. Okay. Yeah. I mean that's like a good point to resign. It's like not much to do, and all of your cool units just died. So cool. So yeah, that was. I mean, another masterclass by Everdan for sure. Um, let's see, and then with E1, I think that it's like there were two big tactical errors on the same turn. Um, we can go back to that turn, but so like it's pretty easy to point out the tactical errors usually. So okay, this turn here. So right here, attacking this infantry from the port looks innocent enough, but secretly it would have been better to attack from above with the tank, so that way the Neo can counter hit. Wait, never mind. Okay, forget I said that. Okay, so secretly this is not great because Everdan can build a battleship and then cover the Neo tank hitting the tank. Um, so that's not great. And the other weird thing here is that the tank is out of range of the bomb of the anti-air. So the bomber can come in and one shot the tank for free. Um, well, basically for free. Um, well, it's a little bit more complicated because Jess has the option of attacking into a losing idea with this Neo, charging turbocharge, moving the Neo tank in, killing the APC, and then diving with it anti-air. Um, the issue with that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you eat an artillery shot, you eat a neo tank shot. Um, so I guess the artillery probably hits the anti-air, the neo hits the neo, and then the B copter finishes off the artillery. And now your neo is like wounded um, without anti-air support and could get surrounded depending on how Everdan plays it. So it's just not a great idea. It is like basically all of that hassle was not worth hitting that 1 HP. Not hitting that. All that hassle was not worth hitting that that one infantry for like 9 HP. So yeah, not the best. Also, diving for this capture, pretty bold in the face of a bomber out of anti-air range. So I would say maybe this was supposed to be like a bait, like baiting into hitting the baiting into hitting the tank so that the anti-air covers it. Um, but it turns out you can actually take the bait without setting the trap. So that's an important thing to realize. And then at the same time, there was also something weird here about going for this port capture in the face of the Neo tank. It just doesn't quite work because you don't have anything to, like, it. You don't have any support for the port capture. So the Neo tank can just hit for free, and then Xeronix finds a way to like respond to the Neo tank with the bomber while covering the rest with his own Neo tank. So I would say probably the biggest thing for E1 is just like thinking a little bit more critically about those important tactical turns and making sure that he's like foolproofed his ideas to make sure that someone as brilliant as Xeronix isn't going to find some flaw in the idea that he can exploit to gain. Because this happens like several times. I mean, like he loses 2 tanks for that at the cost of nothing. And then a little bit of infantry death here for no reason. I guess it delays some captures, but it hurts the unit count, which is a little bit sketchy. And then also, I think it's a little weird holding on to Super CO power that long. Also, the anti-air could have protected against this bomber shot. Or at least it would have been, you could have made it harder for the bomber to hit the battleship because you could move the anti-air to this tile. And again, you Super CO power over the corner and then you protect your battleship. So I wonder if Xeronix had an answer for that. We go here, and then yeah, Xeronix doesn't have an answer for that. There's like too much firepower here for Xeronix to dive on this corner. So yeah, I think that the anti-air could have been all right moving there. So yeah, I would say some tactical things, and then I guess strategically as well. Not having like building the medium tank here, and then moving it up here, I think is kind of strange. Like not being able to secure this port capture for the whole game seems like something you don't want to have happen, especially because it's so close to your HQ, and you can like build a get off me battleship or build a get off me carrier or something. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up what I have to say about this game. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.